Capitalism is an economic and political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled for profit. Profit would have to be the only reason for making Kung Fu Panda 4. I'm Ronald Young Jr., and I'm leaving the theater. Okay, there we go. All right, this is Ronald, and I am leaving the theater after seeing Kung Fu Panda 4. Kung Fu Panda 4, written by Jonathan Aibel, Glenn Berger, and Darren Lemke, directed by Mike Mitchell, starring Jack Black, Awkwafina, Viola Davis, Dustin Hoffman, James Hong, Ian McShane, Ke Quan, Lori Tan Chinn, and Ronny Chieng. I am not here alone. I am here with
J.C. Howard.
J.C. Howard, welcome back to the show. Have not seen you since Wonka.
That's right, yeah, which I thought was a great time, a good time, but, you know.
I agree. Wonka was a good movie.
Yeah.
It is funny because I was sitting there doing my notes for this one, and I was looking through it, and I was like, Timothée Chalamet, I didn't take him to see Doom Part 2, but I forgot he was the lead in Wonka, and he did a great job.
That's right, yes. Yeah. This one, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but this one will give us something to contrast how much we liked Wonka, I think.
Okay, so Kung Fu Panda 4 is the third trilogy. The third entry, the fourth entry, third sequel, that's what I'm trying to say. It is the third sequel to the Kung Fu Panda movies that came out in 2008, and it is starring Jack Black, and it used to star Lucy Liu was in there, and Brad Pitt, ex-wife, Angelina Jolie. Yes, I was like trying to do word association. So Angelina Jolie is in it, and several others. Jackie Chan is in it. It's very like a star-studded cast at the time. None of them are in this one, but it's a new set of stars in this one, including Awkwafina, and it tells the story of Po, who is the dragon warrior as he was appointed in the first movie, and he goes on another adventure in this movie. J.C. Howard, what did you think?
It was a movie. You know, It was a night out, and I think it was enjoyable for that, just being out and being in a movie theater and being surrounded by people who are sometimes laughing. I mean, it was not what I expected. I went into this movie expecting that it was going to be mostly about Poe choosing his successor, right? I thought that was the journey that they would be going on, and it was not exactly that. It was about like stopping a villain that was, that was that had some evil scheme, and the villain, the chameleon, played by Viola Davis, and that was fine. I thought that, give me that, give me a regular old villain story, but it was just kind of a mid story. There was a nice slight twist that I think you probably saw coming, but it was I think the thing about me, people who have listened to Leaving the Theater long enough to have heard me on several episodes, I try to find a bright side in almost every movie that I to give it something that I can say, you know what, it wasn't all great, but I loved this about it, and I can do that for this one, but it only comes to the voice acting. I think that the voice acting was really great. Viola Davis, this movie made me feel like it confirmed what I already know about her, which is she can do anything. She took the chameleon, and I was like, I don't really care about this movie, but I really love her. I love to hate her villain in the chameleon. But yeah, I mean, I would say it's a mid movie, but very good voice acting.
This is one of the most boring movies I've ever seen in my life. And my thing is, I want to point out, you have not seen any Kung Fu Panda, right?
I saw the first one,
Okay.
More than a decade ago, but haven't seen one since.
Okay, I have seen all of them, and let me tell you, the first two especially I thought were really good. I thought the third one was a little forgettable, but the first two I thought were really good. I think for you, who has not seen one since 2008, to watch this and immediately identify that this is just a movie, I think that is very accurate, because I watched this and thought, what did y'all just want to make another one? Like, the plot is very thin. It is very point A to point B. The twist I saw coming, it was this twist out of Dark Knight Rises. As soon as there's an instance in which Bruce Wayne is behind a gate closes behind Bruce Wayne, and he looks at Catwoman like, you set me up. That exact same turn is in this film. I just was not having a good time. I was bored. And the thing was, I wasn't tired, so I couldn't even fall asleep. So it was, I didn't enjoy this whatsoever.
For you, I almost went to sleep for you. I there were some times where I closed my I blinked a little longer than I thought I would. I'll put it that way. Yeah.
I mean, you didn't miss anything. I know that. I think like the part that bothers me is like, and I think that, well, one, the canary in the coal mine for this is you saying I always try to find a silver lining, and the fact that you struggled to find one, and it just ends up being like the voice acting. And in most of these movies, like, the voice actors don't really do anything wrong. Right. You know what I mean? And I think they didn't really do anything wrong here. I'm sick of Awkwafina. Sure. Like, there was nothing about her that it had to be her in this film, except for the distinctive voice. But I don't think that she's bringing anything to most of the animated movies that she's in that anyone else couldn't have brought. Yeah. And then on top of that, man, I lost my thought. I guess it was so boring that I've forgotten some of the things about this movie. I don't know.
Yeah, forgotten what you even thought about it. As far as the voice acting, I will also add a few kudos to James Hong, who played the Goose. Goose Dad. Yeah. And because he's 95 years old, and I love the fact that he's 95 years old and still working by choice, not because he's a legend. And the fact that he is doing this movie, is still doing this movie, I think it's just very sweet. So I think, again, if I'm finding that silver lining, the best thing that I'm finding is those backstories, right? And and even, as a matter of fact, as far as backstories, Jack Black recently went viral for singing "Hit Me Baby One More Time," the Britney Spears song. Yeah. His video went viral, and that was a part of the movie. I won't, I can say, I guess, that it was a post-credits. It's it's the credits music is Jack Black singing "Hit Me Baby One More Time," and that, again, bright spot. Like, seeing that go viral and then seeing it in this movie is like, oh, okay, I get why he was singing that. It was kind of viral promotion, but I'll take it. I like it.
I remember what I was going to say. Yeah. There's 3 writers credited on this movie, and I remember when I saw that as I was taking notes for this movie, I realized that was also a red flag for me. Because when you see three writers on a film like this, what that tells you is someone was brought in to do rewrites on a script that someone did not enjoy, which means that there's probably a bit of a Franken script in here somewhere, which, I mean, it's not good. Yeah. I'll go ahead. I feel like you're about to say something. I wasn't going to be labor to point. I was going to get straight to ratings, but you tell me.
All I was going to say is that I won't blame it for being disjointed. It wasn't exactly disjointed. It seemed cohesive, but it was just like a cohesive yawn. It was just like, okay, fine. We did it. We did the movie. Yeah. Someone contracted it. We paid a bunch of people, and the movie's out there, so we've done it.
A cohesive collective yawn. I agree. With that being said, what do you give this out of 5 stars?
I'm going to go ahead and say a 2.5. And the reason I'll give it a 2.5 is because I feel like I will probably never see this movie again. But I will say that, I would love to hear what a kid thought of it. Like a kid who either has seen the first 3 or maybe even hasn't, and just happened upon this movie. I mean, there were some good moments. The sight gags were good. The joke density wasn't there. I remember laughing a lot in the first one, and I didn't feel like there was a lot to laugh at, even for a kid. But the sight gags did work for the few that were there. So I'll give it that 2.5.
I'll give it a 2. And I think if I take that kid to see Spider-Man before this, they're going to be mad at me because they're going to be like, I thought we were seeing good movies today.
They'll be like, I thought we were friends, and then you took me to see this.
Exactly. I think it was boring. It was predictable. I remember about 10 minutes in, I was starting to feel like, I just got to get through this, and I don't, you know what I mean? Like, so, and I don't like that feeling in a movie when I'm just like, I got to get through this, and normally when that happens, there's some sort of twist that draws me in. This did not have it. The minute I see Awkwafina show up, I know where they're going. I know what they're doing. It wasn't it. I give it 2 of 5 stars. Yeah. And with that, Leaving the Theater is a production of Oh It's Big Rod Studios. I am mixing this episode, and once again, if you want to hear the type of mixing that you've grown accustomed to, join the Patreon. I do the best job that I can, but I am not an audio engineer. I'm an audio producer. I am not an audio engineer. To help us out, you can go to patreon.com/leavingthetheater. Again, that's patreon.com/leavingthetheater, or you can go to the link in our show notes. Show art from Heather Wilder. Theme music by the mysterious Breakmaster Cylinder. For more information about Kung Fu Panda 4 or JC Howard, check out our show notes. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or Threads at Oh It's Big Ron. That's at OHITSBIGRON. And you can find out more about this show and other Oh It's Big Ron Studio shows by following us on Instagram at Oh It's Big Ron Studios and on Twitter at Oh It's Big Ron Stew. That's STEW. Leaving the Theater will be back soon. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, I guess, for having me.
I'm sorry. Forgive me. All right. What do I normally say? Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you, man. I'm like the other. Sheesh. For more information about Kung Fu...